I've never been clear. I don't think I'm the only one that's not clear on what the difference is.
How are we coming back to the same topic? Didn't we talk about this before? I thought Null he's got a crocodile alligator thing figured out.
Well, the Steve Irwins are in Australia, and he's Australian, so I think that means he has to know.
He's also muted.
He's also muted. That's the reason I asked.
Start the show as you need to go on.
Welcome to Game of Nodes, a weekly podcast on the cosmos from independent validator teams.
Hello, welcome to Game of Nodes, a weekly podcast on the cosmos from independent validator teams. And Noel, are you with us yet?
Yeah. Did you?
No,
sorry, did you hear that?
Well, there's a weird delay. I don't know if there's a delay for
delay.
everybody or just me. But
That's the Australian delay. He's
much
farther away now, so
audio then video was what I experienced there.
Oh, yeah. Shit. This is like a thing that I've been working on.
Wow. And then you showed up with that. Excellent.
That's how we're going to roll. We're going anyway.
You travel around the whole world and came back to your same problems.
Hey, look, not everything works perfectly when you're having to stream out your parents' basement. So, you've got to kind of...
I was expecting all my problems just to fix themselves while I was gone, but
fucking hell.
You were like,
we were just talking about that.
Fix everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, here we are. I've got the same problems, slowly getting more problems.
Welcome to the bear market, baby.
Wow.
I have to say, but every single week, I'm just like, I wonder if this week will be better. And
you are not allowed to complain about the bear market. None of you are. You don't know pain.
Well, yes and no. Yes, let's go with yes and no. I would say that I assume we're referring to different ecosystems, and I would remind you about our AWS bill before you continue.
Oh my God,
don't make me get out the calculator and tell you how insignificant your AWS bill is.
It's still a stupid. It's such a fine line between stupid and clever. Yeah, it's just a little turnabout.
Still
It's
Don't make me do a full economic assessment here.
I was on a call earlier where we were talking about effectively terms, like it was like grant stuff, and I'm always impressed by anybody who pulls the fucking massive flex of being able to do mental maths to the point of like you're sort of saying something out loud like, maybe a potential solution would be something along the lines of this, and somebody goes like, okay, yeah, back of the packet, that means this, this, and this, and you're like, well, doesn't somebody have a fucking GCSE in maths?
We go with back of the envelope here, but you can make an estimation just based on the information available.
Yeah,
it's not, you can just
sure. But when you're talking about like some fucking DeFi degen shit, where it's just like because the solution isn't like in crypto, the solution is never as simple as, hey, how about we pay you a fair day's wage for a fair day's work? No, like fuck it is. It's like we're gonna escrow some tokens with your fucking liquid bulls thing. And everybody's going to make, well, in a bear market, they make fractions of a penny on each fee, the thing, and then something. There's a doge over here, and there's money over there, and somebody just casually is like, "Oh yeah, that gauge, yeah, I think that's going to be about $1,000 a month." And you're like, what the fuck? Where did that number come from? What? How? Show me you're working. I want to see that. But I'm also impressed and intimidated by what you've just done. So. That might also be the tiredness talking, but I think generally I'm just intimidated by competency, which
just general competence.
Just like, hang on a minute. I brought a spoon to a knife fight. What's all this?
This sounds like they know what they're doing. This is horrifying.
It's like I came in here ready to roll some bums, some hobos, fucking yokels. Fuck! It turns out these guys are a preferred business outfit. What the fuck? I didn't get involved in crypto to deal with professionals. I've been outmatched.
So I love actually, here's something I want to mention. I love how we've started printing bear market blocks in our spreadsheet.
What do you mean?
Empty.
Yeah, I know. We're printing a lot of empty blocks in the spreadsheet.
No, not quite empty blocks. We've got a couple of things in the spreadsheet. Although, you know,
We do.
I noticed the thing that remains week after week, and it's getting like bigger and more redder, is the life is a meaningless march of emptiness and despair. Like complicate things with agendas. It's
every
just-
few weeks we
fucking
just up
true.
the font size on that one. Just
I feel like it has been getting bigger.
to pep the team up, you know. Well, hey, you know, yeah, there's been a lot of inflation in the size of the baby. We're nearly. I fear that before too long, the Game of Nodes baby grow. There's going to be some kind of. God, if I was smart enough and if I was less tired, there's some kind of UST collapse, demand side crash joke to be made about the Game of Nodes baby grow, which is, to be honest, the most exciting thing in my life right now.
Wait, what do you mean it's going to be you mean like there's going to be a rip or there's going to be some sort of defecation that
It could be anything. I mean,
it could be anything.
Could be anything. Is what I've learned. I didn't think it was possible to poo through 2 layers of clothing, but hey, that might be a UST. That could be. Is that exogenous? No, it's probably endogenous.
It's a viscosity problem. You
I
know,
think the problem is it's an endogenous problem becoming an exogenous problem, but an economist might be able to correct me on that one. So,
I mean, that onesie is a one of one NFT that, however, could also be recreated many different times, like every other NFT.
when it's too small for the cloud, I should mint it as an NFT and then burn the onesie along with the
You could.
along with what's been done to it. It was a white onesie, which is possibly
Now it's tan.
the slightly off
Or a
white,
beige.
just a little turnaround from white. But there has been one exciting thing in the cosmos that I feel like straight at
Tell
the top
us.
of the show. I want to be like straight at the top of the show, 7 minutes in.
Yeah.
Hey, noise launch. Did we talk about that last week? Did
We
talk about
didn't. We meant to.
I felt noise launch. That's kind of cool. Like we're always bitching about like shit chains launching without a kind of actual use case. Noise is, you know, we obviously had Simon on the show previously.
Sounds here. Yep.
To answer our dumb questions. Like it's a useful chain with an actual use case. The DRAN stuff is pretty cool. I mean, like all these things, it's going to be rocky for a little while, and it's certainly not going to work particularly profitably, as far as I can tell from being in a bear market. But
It doesn't need to be, but I'm like my expectations. It's not like it's going to the moon, right? Like it's performing a service that
you're telling me that noise is not going to the moon.
Sorry,
Stop fudding my bags.
sorry.
what do you mean it's not going to the moon?
What? My bags.
What?
My bags.
thought-
But it.
Fud my bags, man.
It's a. Fuck,
Man, I thought I was going to clip my golden ticket.
shit. I'm sorry.
What an
Cut you right
asshole.
at the knees. But it is. It's providing value. It's obviously well engineered. It's going to do its job. Hopefully, it can earn some revenue. Right? Like, what else do you want? It's solving a purpose. It can grow. Right? There's other things it can do. We're also running the Drand robot, which is kicking ass. It's kind of fun.
Are you winning the Drand battles?
Yeah, every one, which I think is a problem.
Wait, hang on. What? How are you winning every one? That seems
Anyone that I'm in is green. I just went to go look at it because it's been running for a while. I'm running on a really overpowered box that is left over from another chain to be left nameless. And it's well connected. It's peered well. It is, it's doing pretty good. So I actually just checked in it because I was seeing how it was doing. But it's anything that gets pulled in, it's in there. I think that's a problem actually because it shouldn't be.
Is
that way.
it on a Hetzner box?
No, it's sitting in Equinix. it's sitting on a box that's at an Equinix data center with like the best peering in the universe on an Epic 7543P. That's the only thing that it's doing is running that and a node.
That's
until
ridiculous.
until the subscription runs out at the end of April, and then it'll go into a
it
something
could go to the
far
to the
less
great
exciting.
Hetzner in the sky because I mean DRAND Oracle, that's not breaking the Hetzner TOS.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I also run a node on it because I want it to be close to. Actually, I send those DRAN to myself. I send it to Polka because he's really close in ping, and somebody else I sent it to. So it sends out 3, and whatever wins, and yeah, it does pretty well.
So is this an Aptos Life thing? Just having miscellaneous Epic boxes sitting around?
It's set for decommission. I just missed the subscription date, so yeah.
Oh,
it's just sitting around.
I have 3 absolute units just sat in 2 OVH data centers for a rainy day. It's the life.
It's the life. This is It's just we're just dripping with Epic 48 core boxes laying around here.
What's the line from Road to Perdition? This is the life we've chosen, the life we lead. There's only one guarantee: none of us will see heaven.
Okay.
What's the?
It's a great movie. I don't remember the phrase though.
How does that relate to what we just talked about?
It's when he's trying to. So a little bit of a spoiler here. Sorry if you haven't seen Road to Perdition, but it's when he's talking to. Is it Paul Newman? It's when Tom Hanks is talking. I think it's Paul Newman, and he's trying to explain the central predicament and drama driver of the film. Involves his son, and he's trying to explain why his son being wrapped up in the situation basically should exempt the normal thing that would happen in a mob organization when the thing that the important drama thing that has happened, and he's trying to sort of advocate for his son. And he says, oh, this is the life we've lived and this life we've chosen. Only one guarantee: none of us will see heaven. That's Paul Newman's character, and Tom Hanks, in his folksy Tom Hanks way, it's like, my son, mate. Or Michael. I think his son's called Michael. Michael, mate.
Dude, your Tom Hanks is awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Isn't it?
That's really good. You've been working on
many
it.
years.
It's amazing.
For many.
I feel like I need to watch that Road to Perdition again. I was going to watch A Man Called Otto tonight.
It's great.
Christen. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
so
fantastic.
I want to Christen my new couch that I got yesterday.
Christen.
Christen it. Yes.
Christen.
It's going to be the maiden voyage
Christen.
of the couch.
You got a new couch?
I did get a new couch. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Does that mean
he was like, "We gotta go."
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Null slept on this thing. I'm burning it.
Is it leather?
Exactly right.
Is it leather?
No, it's not leather.
Is it leather?
Cassie's vegan, so we can't do leather. Well, I wear like leather
You
belts.
can't
and
even
stuff,
fucking sit on leather? I thought that just meant you can't eat it.
Well, I mean, it kind of depends on the person, right? But a lot of people they don't want to support the killing
Slaughter of animals.
Basically, yeah.
We're okay.
News just in. We're slaughtering them anyway.
Well, meanwhile, like
Whether you
half of
fancy
my
it or
stuff is
not.
leather.
Yeah, oh, man, I love that chair. I spent some time in that bitch.
That talking about the zero gravity chair? Oh yeah, that one's leather.
Yeah.
That one is leather. But that one's mine. And I can have that.
Oh,
The
sorry.
couch-
Did you mention something else?
No,
I thought you were talking about the chair.
No. That the glorious zero gravity chair remains as it is. But no, the sofa in the living room. Because like on the right hand side, it was too sunken in. So I was like, no, I can't put up with that anymore. My sad back can't take it.
Some of the best times I had in the States was just skulking around Schultz's house, playing with his like shit.
I kind of in my head, I can't decide because of the posters in Schultz's room. I kind of can't decide whether like you leave the room and it's going to be like a triumph of minimalism. It's going to be like all fucking Scandi and shit and really fucking West Coast and like nice, or whether it's going to be like just like cool shit everywhere, just like random Lego models and stuff, and just like ooh, or maybe neither of the above. But I feel like it would either be one or the other, and I don't know why I have that kind of either totally nothing in the house or just like hoarder's paradise, but mainly cool shit.
I appreciate that medium you're giving me. Unfortunately, the house is like partially being like renovated ish because like we're painting the walls and stuff. So like all the walls are stripped throughout the house basically.
Oh, this is the asbestos chat from previous episode of Game of Nodes, everybody.
Right.
So if you're not a regular listener,
That's right.
episode 30. No, I don't know which episode it was, but there was an episode where asbestos came up.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Well, but there are some cool things still up. So like my grandfather, whenever he died a couple years back, he gave me some of his wood carvings. So I've got like wood carvings of like a stag and some wolves all over the place. Cool. So I got some cool things.
You're telling me you've got some one-of-one wood NFTs?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
Did your dad?
He was ahead of his time.
Sorry,
really.
did your granddad make the light switch thing?
No, but he did make the table. The light switch thing, I think was from Etsy, but the table next to the couch, he did make that.
Okay, cool. The table?
Top and everything. Yeah.
Oh, next to the couch.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. Me and my granddad made a like a little like cupboard on wheels with a drawer on top. It's like a little mini bedside on wheels.
Yeah.
It's a piece of shit.
I was gonna say that sounds more
That's
like
yours, right?
sad drink cabinet.
Yeah, we made it. We made it in like an
cabinet.
hour in the woodshed, and it is not impressive. But it's a memoir.
Yeah, right. I have shit like that too. You can't beat it.
My Life in Woodcraft by Null. A memoir.
Yeah, when I was little. It's like half bog. I don't know how you make a bedside table that's half bog, but we did.
Were you like 6 years old or 36 years old?
Luckily,
Makes a difference. If you're 36, you're making
when he got back
garbage.
to the States.
Yeah,
It's like,
I'm
come on,
going-
Granddad.
that was
Let's
last
make
week.
a fucking drinks cabinet. I mean, it's fine.
I'm going with low teens. Like they're all long
All right.
dead.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So hey, what's this? Oh,
So
okay.
on the movie chat, like I very much recommend if you've been a bit of a lull and you've expanded all of your exploitation era Australian films, just go on YouTube and go best cinematography, all Oscar best cinematography, supercut. And there's just like loads of really good ideas for films in there. And I think that's why Road to Perdition is in my head, because I think Road to Perdition, which I thought was a kind of sort of semi-forgotten but okay gangster film, I think it actually won best cinematography when it was released. And I remember it being quite a striking film, if it is the one I'm thinking of. And so that's, I think, why it's in my head. It won something. I think it was best cinematography. I think that's also why, because it came up in that big round. But then, to be fair, some utter shite did also win Oscars over the years that wasn't all that good. So, but then, so what I realized, I watched a supercut of just like a couple of scenes from each of the best picture films and then one of the best cinematography, and I felt like the films that I liked more were the best cinematography ones rather than the best pictures. I mean, for starters, because fucking Lord of the Rings won best picture and Master and Commander won best cinematography in the same year, and obviously Master and Commander is the better film, vastly superior. Right. So right there, we could say that just, obviously the cinematography is masking the true, it's the true, it's the Pooh Bear in the tuxedo. The man of culture doesn't watch the best picture run.
Master and Commander won something?
Yeah, won like 4 Oscar Academy Awards, I think.
Holy shit.
Maybe more. Sound design, adapted screenplay, cinematography.
There must have been some
and I think editing.
Maybe
Maybe costume as well, actually, because there was a whole thing about how much effort they went into for both the costume and to do the sound design for like the cannons and stuff. They literally cracked out 200-year-old cannons from museums in England and America.
That's cool.
To be like, what does it sound like when we record a cannon with 15 microphones?
Yeah. That's cool.
It sounds like the entire world has exploded.
I could see it for audio. That was a good audio flick. Costume design. How hard is that? They're all the way in the same fucking thing.
It's like get some rags, put them on.
Be surprised, like at how complex doing good costume is. In my partner watches this thing where they literally it's like everybody has like a zone out YouTube space, like a happy space, right?
Soy Too Studio says, did it win the award for longest feeling picture?
Best value for money is what I call that. But everybody has like the zone out YouTube thing where they just throw it on the background. Like I quite
Every
like
night.
I quite like CoffeeZilla or like Economics Explained or like the Bovington Tank Museum. Just your standard, just throw it on zone out. But
Economics Explained is like top tier, like stationary bike YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's quite good for that. Just kind of like, I kind of want something sort of vaguely like, I'll come away with it with some kind of interesting information, but like, hey, so my partner watches a thing, which is her equivalent of that is quite often costume in film. And it turns out it's an area that like, if it's done badly, you super notice. If it's done well, you don't notice it, of course.
Sure.
But then like, especially in anything that's like a little bit past in the past, like beyond where we kind of just instinctively can tell it looks wrong, people obviously take a lot of liberties. And that's the interesting thing where people can kind of get away with being shit, but they actually make an effort to try and get it right. And that becomes super complicated because there gets to be a point where it's just like, well, outside of these few things in a museum, we don't actually know how people made that. So, if you want to do it right for a film, you basically have to get a bunch of really good tailors and be like, go to a museum, reverse engineer this garment, and then make me 15 more of them. And it's like really complex. And, in kind of like, whatever it is, like textiles literature, then people will literally go and be like, well, we thought that everybody had pockets in the 17th century, and it turns out we reverse engineered a bunch and we've completely changed our opinion on how pockets worked. It's actually quite interesting, especially pockets, because pockets is that's one of those ones where there's a lot of stuff to pockets.
I mean,
that shit's fascinating.
I got sucked into an armorer critiquing movies at one point, and he had some serious opinions about, like, I think it was in the Alexander movie. Alexander the Great movie, where like someone was wearing a pauldron and he got all fired up about it. He's like, listen, Alexander the Great's supposed to be like 1200. Pauldrons didn't really start showing up because of the certain weaponry around 1500, and then went on like a 17-minute spiel about pauldrons based on that. And that's where I get sucked in. That's where I'm all committed.
I watched The Great One the other day, which is all about the amount of historical evidence there is for the various ways in which phalanxes were deployed. Phalanxes were deployed in the high classical Greek period, and how little we essentially know, and how much we've also painted how we think they fought into the period before and the period after, based on almost no evidence, which makes sense. I mean, if you do any kind of classics, you just like, there's almost no primary sources left on anything, and you're like, yeah, we're just going to like draw loads of conclusions about how people would have fought, and you're like, based on what?
Yeah, it's all based on the Wall of Hell or whatever it's called, the movie the book based on 300.
Yeah, and there's also like this whole a lot of them is also based on like vases, and then like as anybody kind of goes, well, hang on a minute, this vase or this ceramic or this painting is two-dimensional. So if you're trying to represent, like, people are like, oh yeah, no, there's loads of periods where shield walls were used. And it's like, yeah, of course shield walls were used, but it's not a phalanx, because they've had to represent all the soldiers two-dimensionally. So they're all just in a line, but they're all just holding javelins, and they were probably just throwing them. It probably wasn't a phalanx. It was a different period of history. They're probably just throwing those guys and then probably just jerking off a guy over their shoulder. Rather than, but the whole thing, in 300 with the pushing, that is actually based on the I think it's like the historical whatever it is, like the orthodox view of how the fighting happened, which is that they didn't want many casualties, so it was mainly a shoving match until one side sort of gave up in a particular period of Greek history, and that's where that came from. It has like a whole name. It's like the shoving. It has like a Greek name that was used at the time. But then there's like a dissenting view. It's just like, yeah, the front rows were shoving each other, trying to kill each other. That was not the main. They were trying to fucking win the battle.
It was just tug of war. That's all it was.
Yeah, exactly. You made a lot of additional conclusions about how this worked just based on one word. That basically amounts to shoving. So yeah.
I mean, pockets or not, that Master and Commander movie really sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's that much pockets involved in that.
I thought you said it was all about the pockets.
It's all about I mean, pockets is an interesting subject in clothing. From having overheard a lot of stuff in the background around the house, about clothing, I was just like, yeah, pockets.
Who knew?
Sometimes men had great pockets, sometimes women had great pockets. Sometimes nobody had good pockets. I mean, usually somebody had good pockets. There was a whole period of time where women just had like huge pockets in their clothes. You could put a whole loaf of bread in.
Not today.
And now pocket poverty, right? There's no pockets.
Yeah, we swung the opposite way. There's no pockets.
It doesn't make any sense. And you need a pocket to put a whole loaf of bread in. Like, that's basically a basic. As soon as I heard about that, I was like, that's great. That's amazing. Like, if you think about hoodies, I guess they're kind of a bread pocket, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, but
it's a bread. It's
a women's pants.
It's more of a sausage.
Women's pants, when they put like a phone in their back pocket and like 3/4 is sticking out the top, that kills me. I don't know how. That's so much trust in that pocket.
Every single one.
Very stressful, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, what are they gonna do? They're gonna sit on it and crack it. How am I gonna handle this? It's not even my phone.
It's gonna fall. It's gonna.
It makes me anxious thinking about it.
I know.
Yeah.
And you might be like, I can't touch it.
So what else did I learn from YouTube polls? I also learned one of the main reasons why the Russian advance was halted in Ukraine. The northern attack down towards Kiev, where the Ukrainians were very unprepared for an attack from that direction. Apparently, one of the big things that's happened between the Crimean offensive and now, with Western military observers and like trainers, is they emphasized NATO tactics rather than Warsaw Pact tactics, where Warsaw Pacts tend to be top down. And the big thing that changed between the World War II and maybe also like Vietnam and stuff, and sort of now is that special forces tactics have sort of bled down into all NATO armies to a lesser or greater extent, where special forces tactics from the Second World War, like the US Marine Recon, the SAS, those kind of experimental groups at the time, where it was like, yeah, we want an outcome, go scout this island for Japanese, tell us how many rough force strength, right? They're not like, take this boat, go to this island, do it in this way. They just be like, go and find out. Right, so it's outcome based, and like the SAS, they'd be like, go and blow up some planes while they're still on a runway. Outcome based, right?
Yeah.
It's not like take 4 jeeps, 10 men in 2 sections, and it's just like, go blow up some fucking planes, blow up as many as you can, do it however you see fit, go for it, bam,
knock yourself out.
But that kind of gradually became like more of the kind of strategic doctrine for outcomes. Like at unit level, you have more flexibility as a small unit commander to basically drive the outcome that's been given to you. And apparently that's the thing that is supposedly the thing the Ukrainian army took on most, and has accounted for some of their ability to repel the Russians in the early stages of the invasion, because they were able to go like, well, we need to blow up some T-72s. What's the most flexible way we can drive that outcome? It's kind of like an agile software approach to blowing up T-72s rather than a real top-down waterfall. Yeah. That wasn't even a way I didn't realize that was going to be the punchline to that. But anyway, Cosmos.
Well, hold on. I got one point to add to this. It's interesting you bring that up, because there's been such a discussion lately around autonomy in like children, and it's kind of interesting that the military, who traditionally kind of treats their I don't want to say they're peons, they're individuals as children. Thank you, they're troops.
Yeah,
that's better than peons.
Yeah.
As children, that the conversation's turning around into like, well, if we provide people more autonomy, then maybe they'll succeed more. And so that's a big discussion. My family's, there's a lot of teachers, and so that's been in vogue in the last like year on how can we provide more options for autonomy, and how does that lead to success and whatever. But anyway, just want to throw that out there, that it's kind of like goes 1-to-1.
It's almost like when you empower people to, like, you give them the tools to do a task and you give them an outcome that you're mutually aligned on, they tend to have a better chance at success.
Yeah, because then they can, use critical thinking skills, and like there's might be some sort of emergent creative thinking happening. Yeah, wild, crazy.
Yeah, it is obvious in hindsight. It's one of those classic, it was obvious in hindsight. But hey, we're all going to be obsolete thanks to GPT-4 anyway. So,
but honestly, not everybody does well in that situation. Like, I agree with you. Like, you have to have and this is an entrepreneurial type of group, and I think our listeners are very entrepreneurial as well, because you're in this ecosystem. And but that's not everybody. Some people really only feel comfortable when they have clear direction on what needs to be done next. And that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, they want direction, and not that liberty creates stress, and it creates like consternation. And then they don't do anything, or you're in a position where I need to be told exactly what to do, and they'll do it very well. But that's not everybody. That's it's a weird human dynamic, right?
But then that's also like, that's the difference between this is the difference in military organization between, sort of enlisted rank and file soldiers and non-commissioned officers and commissioned officers. And that's why you have the breakdown of responsibilities in the way that you do. And that's why outcome based strategy begins to work pretty well, because you've got a really rigid hierarchy for escalating a decision.
Yes.
But you have at any given point, you should have a clear person whose job it is to make a decision to drive the outcome. So they're just handed down an outcome, and then eventually there's people who have to action that outcome, and they're given, okay, there is the T-72, please.
Yeah. Figure out a way.
Yeah, exactly. I think the actions from our little conference here are: take this Javelin missile, fire it at that T-72 from whatever position in this general wooded area seems to be the most naturally defensible to you. Yeah. Fire and shoot. Take out, maybe more than one T-72. Use your initiative. Really, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that with you as an action, but it will look good on your OKRs if it's more than one T-72. So anyway, that's the rubber chicken's gone. That's 2 minutes. That's the end of this morning's stand-up. So everybody, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Tank killers.
Right.
Let's go.
I believe the traditional one is hooah.
Hooah.
Marine.
That's not specifically the U.S. Marine Corps,
Yeah.
or is it the Army Rangers?
No, that's
I
Marine
think
Corps.
Marines. Yeah.
That's Marine Corps.
Okay, yeah.
So 30 minutes in, and you know,
We did talk about noise for a
We
little
talked
bit.
about noise at 7 minutes in. I got it in there
We did.
because it was important that we talked about noise. But
what did you talk about noise? You just said, "Oh, it started and it's random. We're not going to get rich."
There's a lot of interest in noise.
Moving on now. Have I told you about the army lately?
I mean, it says something about where we are in the market where we're like, yeah, it launched and like we're not getting rich, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
Whereas like a year ago, we'd be like, it launched, we're not gonna get rich. That sucks.
So, like, you know, something that
but Huahua did well at the top of the market. So let's just remember how insane things are. I mean, yeah.
So I only got up not long ago, and when I woke up, I read the you know, happenings around the internet in you know, Cosmos, and I saw that there was a tombstone on Say Network with Horcrux.
That is the
That is
Literally no way with
with
Horcrux.
Horcrux. That's
That's the rumor.
concerning. Yeah. So
Slightly, yeah.
yeah, I'm led to believe that it was
AMS.
there was a restart of the Horcrux daemon, and then that led to a double sign. I haven't read the log yet, but Crow's Nest provided the log to go and have a look through. Did you look, Schultzy? You look like a diligent person who would immediately look through that.
I did, and that does appear to be what the issue is.
But that was only the log from one node, right? So that was the
Well,
that was the
he was
local-
only running one node. It was a single signer instance.
No, it wasn't.
not
It was
not
it
a
was
raft.
2 of 3. It was 2 of 3.
No, it's single.
Single.
Why were there 3 IP addresses with
Again,
3 separate
again,
pre-commits
Horcrux,
in there?
right?
He was pointing
Nodes?
at 3 different nodes, but one signer.
Oh, it was one signer with 3 nodes.
Yes, and that's what makes it unique.
How the fuck would that double sign?
So I think what happened was, so whenever in my Horcrux service files, I have like a restart timer so that if it's restarted, it'll wait like one full block effectively before it kicks up again. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing he doesn't have that in there, and so it restarted, and it didn't close down cleanly, and so it immediately resigned again because it didn't like fully log what happened, but the blockchain did. That's what I
Yeah,
guess.
like maybe you
But
lost
isn't there a
the
state-
work ahead log or something. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah,
That's
because
makes
if you
sense.
lose the WAL, obviously that's like a common reason for double signing. But like most of these remote signers have some concept of essentially the you know, the same consensus state file, right, with the rounds and everything to get around that in case it is restarted. So that is, even with DGen Horcrux, that's surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of it happening before, so I'm guessing he just happened to restart it at like the absolute perfect time, right?
But
I
on
wonder if he did it during an upgrade.
No, I don't think so because it was this morning, I think.
Go look at but in that log it has the same height that 5895 round 0, and it has 2 separate pre-votes and 2 pre-commits on 2 nodes. Signed vote, but it's only connected to one node. Horcrux only connects to one node at one time, right? It fails over. So why is there 2 pre-votes and 2 pre-commits?
No, it always does that. It's always connected to 2. But
It's not pre-signing twice with 2 separate hashes. Oh no, it's the same hash.
Yeah, it like, I don't know. It's always connected to both. If you look at the logs, it always just keeps spitting out like, you know, pre-votes and votes.
Yeah,
on
I always
both
thought that
nodes.
was actually on the raft, not based on the number of nodes it was connecting to. I always thought that it was like there was a leader, and then you have a leader connected to one single node that was actually working with. So just so the issue, and I asked like if there's a config change in here or something else that would force this. It still seems weird that even if, and it's all within the same second, so that thing restarted fucking quick too, right? Like it's all the same second.
Yeah,
in all
'cause
these logs.
it's so light.
Right. So I agree. You'd want to restart timeout, right? 5 seconds or 6 seconds or do something in there. And there's no reason to. That's still weird that it had the pre-commit and then it restarted and signed with and this time it signed with the local node. So it did pre-commits and pre-votes pre-votes and pre-commits with 2 other nodes in the 3 of the 2 sentries, 2 different sentries, but there's no log for 127.0.0.1 in there. And then it restarts and it signs the vote with round 0 on a pre-commit on the local node. So the other nodes must have had the pre-commit and submitted it, or one of those 2, and then it re-signed right away. So basically, Horcrux got lost. It didn't know that it actually it finalized the block.
Did he say this actually tombstoned him though?
Yeah,
Yes, he did. He said it was tombstoned.
Yeah. So I guess Horcrux signed the block. It died. It never got the signature back, right? There's no finalization of the block back to Horcrux. Horcrux doesn't know that the block is not signed. It starts instantly again, and it goes, oh, shit, I got to sign this block. It sends it to the local node. The local node is not one of the ones that are in the pre-submit. It re-signs the same block all in the same fraction of a second.
And but wait, hang on. So there's no, but how?
Horcrux should know that that pre-commit was out, right? It should.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some local state, because it doesn't matter that
there is,
because it's plausible that between 2 consensus rounds, one of the sentries would go away. That's like a completely plausible.
Correct.
I mean, that's like the purpose of the software, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That it was
failure
just the
modes
right
like that.
time before it had actually saved the state yet, right? So it sends it off. It doesn't yet send this, like, save the state. It's killed for whatever.
Oh, you're
reason.
saying it's literally IO. It's like it's before it's even done the log, before it's even incremented the state file. That would have to be a vanishing. The chance of that.
Well, we've never heard of it before, right? So there's that vanishing
Yeah,
chance.
it would have to be a vanishingly small chance. Yeah, like the first.
I might put a cron job to just.
Yeah, okay.
I might put a cron job to just restart my service every 1 second.
See what happens. See if we can force
See
it.
if I can get a double sign over the next
on testnet,
year.
right?
What?
On testnet.
Do it on Juno.
Yeah, on testnet, on
Yeah.
say testnet. Because this was on say testnet, this right, or was this on some other testnet?
This is on Atlantic,
Atlantic
2.
2,
It really
yeah.
shouldn't matter though. The
Make sure
block
your
time shouldn't matter
attestation's
here.
the right box when you do that.
I don't know, man. Atlantic 2 is a little bit weird though. It's not like general Tendermint stuff.
But
They've
I mean,
done
this.
some shit.
But agreed. But this is all happening within a fraction of a second on the same. I mean, honestly, it would be. I'm not sure. This seems like a defect, but depending on what happened here, it would be more of an issue on a slower block time chain than a shorter block time chain, right? Because like this is basically in this restart.
Well,
like this Horcrux is
state
designed to
file.
work on normal Tendermint, right? And Say's done some shit to theirs, and that shit that they've done could cause some issues with this potentially.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's kind of back to the even though you would intuitively think that the slower block time might leave more of a gap for the error to happen, what if one of 2 things is happening? Is there's some interaction with Tendermint that's resulted in the state file not being updated, and that's where it's not like disk writing is slow at the end of the day. It should write quickly, even if it errors. Like the chance of that is tiny.
Plus, it would be.
But there is like a fundamental assumption. Well, not a fundamental assumption. There's a pretty big assumption in Tendermint that your blocks are a second at the absolute quickest. That's kind of everywhere. It's sort of the assumption in Tendermint that it's not really going to get quicker than that. So maybe Noel's right, and there is some like edge case behavior because Horcrux was developed originally several years ago, and it's had updates and stuff since. But it's still like it says this is alpha software in big letters on it.
Yeah.
Do not use our mainnet.
Yeah, just like TMK.
It doesn't say that,
but
but it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
I'm just gonna start while we're on this call, just restarting my Horcrux on say prolifically and see what happens and watch the log. Why not?
Sweet.
Maybe we'll
actually,
have another tombstone by the end of the episode. Eh?
What's that? Yeah, we'll know if
Real
it can
time
be-
tombstone. That hasn't happened before.
Hey?
Real time tombstone on the.
Tombstone of the week is ourselves. In the chat, by the way, on the costume front, Ben Davis said, used to work at Shakespeare's Globe. The original practice costumes were insane. Fake eyebrows were a thing and made of ferret fur. So there you go.
There you go.
You need to emote more with larger eyebrows. Kill a ferret. That's what you can take away from if you take one thing from this week's episode, it's not, hey, go and check your Horcrux setup. Ferret fur. That's what you can take away from this episode.
What part of the ferret?
Probably just the ferret's eyebrows.
Yeah.
Ferret's eyebrows.
You not see the
How many ferrets have to die to get one set of fake ferret for eyebrows?
The whole of a haunch of a ferret is one eyebrow. And 2 ferrets per pair. Hey, so follow up from last week. Actually, it's not on the spreadsheet. We're off piste here.
We're off spreadsheet.
We're off spreadsheet.
There's nothing on the spreadsheet, so it's fine.
We've gone under the rope again.
We were in a very roundabout way. Maybe talked about the AIB lawsuit non-compete situation. Everybody else is like, "Oh, please don't bring up the legally complicated thing again." But I found out something interesting in the week following, because something had been kind of nagging at me that I remember, again, YouTube hole at some point. I remember hearing a thing and being like, isn't there a whole thing about non-competes in America? And I basically looked it up and like citation needed with all these things. But I think there is actually currently a thing where the FTC is trying to bring in legislation to limit the use of non-competes specifically because of tech firms maliciously fucking each other over via the use of employee non-competes. And it's something that is I gather moderately likely to actually happen. But it's interesting that literally the exact, kind of the what's it called, the day-to-day meme. This is the exact one thing we didn't want to happen. This whole situation, which is a bit of a joke. It's amazing. There's literally a piece of legislation that people are trying to introduce to solve this exact problem. And you're like, hey, that's why it's working. I bet it won't happen as a result because it's probably bad for Google or something.
No, I think we talked about this before. Like, non-competes are really hard to enforce in the U.S. Like they just you can't. The U.S. court system will not allow somebody to not live and not earn or feed their family because they worked at XYZ and they want to go work at someplace else. Like that's extremely difficult to enforce. So if I have a very specific skill set and I create 5G modems for Qualcomm and I write non-compete that I can't go work at Motorola or wherever else, that is extremely hard to enforce because that's my skill set. That's what I have. And so you can say I can't work somewhere because of whatever, like that. Those things are typically thrown out instantly. Now, we talked about before, like stealing IP, stealing people, stealing customers. That's totally different. Like that is like me bringing what I know to companies. One thing, me raiding the fucking office locker and copying everything off and bringing that to another company to be able to provide a competitive advantage is totally different. And that stuff is that can be very painful. But yeah, like non-compete. So I'm not surprised they're trying to throw it out because I don't think actually. I'm not convinced that like those major tech companies still do those. I don't think, like, I haven't seen one in a long time and I haven't heard of them in a long time. I think everybody recognizes that they're really not enforceable. Now there are, like I said before, like intellectual property agreements and like security agreements and things like that around sharing data. Absolutely. But not in that situation.
I had to sign a non-compete when I was at Intel, but that was about a decade ago.
Yeah,
maybe a little more than a decade, and it's definitely changed since then.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult to limit to like and the other one would be the other area would be like acquisitions. So if you're a single or a small organization that's acquired and you have a consideration as part of that acquisition, you're not going to go start a new company or you're not going to go work for some of these competitors. That is also. That's reasonable because you're being compensated in lieu of that. Like there is we're buying this company. And so part of that purchase is you can't go start you can't just leave the next day and go start compete against us. Like, and that's pretty enforceable as well.
Yeah. Okay. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Hey, so when this bear continues another 2 years and we have to decide what we're going to do in lieu of going back to McDonald's, is this going to just become Game of Nodes, the slightly complaining generalist
right?
Small business owners podcast, where I don't know, so like if you're going to do a different small business, what would it be? I feel like Noel would be some like specialist, like it would be like, oh yeah, we're the only people in Australia that make helicopter rotor blade polymer.
I'd do roof cleaning. It seems like relaxing.
Not even roofing,
roof cleaning, where you like spray it down, cleaning. Scrub the shit off it. Haven't you seen TikTok? You can make $300 a day doing that, or an hour, or whatever they say per job.
There you go.
I don't know.
My ass, you can.
Yeah. So you do a roof, go to the pub, spend that $300, do another roof.
Don't fall off the roof.
Easy peasy.
Do not fall off the roof.
I was talking to some roofers in the autumn, and they were saying that apparently the old climate change is making the roofing game much more difficult because a lot of the roofs in the UK are slate. They're obviously black, and they get really hot.
Oh, that sounds brutal.
And yeah, they're just like the country's not designed for it to be 30 degrees. And let me tell you, as a roofer, I'm the first person to know that. And you're like, I'm not going to attempt this guy's accent because he was from Hull, which if you know, you know, right? But yeah, he was saying like every single day of the summer he was just roasting out on a black roof.
Something tells me his accent sounds a lot like Tom Hanks.
Right.
So I have
an accent,
Are all your accents the same?
I roofed my house in the middle of summer, and it was not pleasant. And an Australian summer is a lot more savage than a British summer.
Yeah, that's probably fair. So the joke about Hull, right, is that there's only one vowel in Hull, and it's
Yeah.
That's the Hull accent. It's, like I say, very hard to describe, but when you hear it, you know it. Well, hey, I'm related. We're clearly jumping around subjects here, but apparently Dennis got the waiver. So
get me up to speed. What was the waiver for? What for?
To work on the open source software that he had previously been working on.
Well, hold on. It gets more complicated than that, though, because Dennis got the waiver, but the person that was like representing them is now being sued.
Grace,
that sounds right.
So
Yeah,
they're still suing Grace, but Dennis has got the waiver. So Grace got Dennis off the hook and got sued for.
And they're suing her for disparagement, right? Because she was so vocal about it.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know how you can give him the waiver and then there's still disparagement because you're kind of agreeing with her.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're probably right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Those people are crazy.
In Noel's opinion, and if you've got a problem with disparagement, you can come to Australia and try and pull it out of his parents' basement.
I think I double signed.
Did you?
No.
Yeah.
Well done.
Funnily enough, I used watch to restart this thing. Just like watch restart.
Oh,
and
you
dash
did.
N1. Did you double sign?
He did.
Is it showing on like? Is it? Yep, jailed. There you are. Well done, dude.
Tombstone. This is monumental.
So let's see if I can
Defect
present
confirmed.
my.
It's amazing.
There you go.
Hang on.
So yeah, apparently you can double sign with Horcrux proved.
Here is
That
the
is proved.
tombstoning event.
Yeah, there you are. Well, you're missing like fucking crazy.
So it's missing like crazy.
Is it just missing, or did you actually get?
No, it must be tombstoned.
It says you're jailed, but is it? Are you actually tombstoned though?
Well, if I'm jailed, I'm tombstoned because.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a pretty short period for. Yeah.
Like that was it had like perfect signing. So this is about when I started it. This is how long it took.
Not long.
Dropped a bit there.
Missed a bunch in a row, and then
bang. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it says tombstone right in Todd's dashboard. That's really handy. Look at that.
All right, I might start spinning off some
Look at that.
Juno
That's
signs.
fancy.
It helps
Tombstone
me,
on there.
doesn't it?
Tombstoned.
So don't restart every 1 second forever. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I wonder if, now that proves it on say, and it's really fast block time. But maybe we could
Say go on Juno mainnet.
do Juno mainnet next.
Or Juno testnet. YOLO, whatever.
Yeah. So that took about 10 minutes, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, good job. Well done. Way to check it.
So when you submit a bug report, are you just going to link this?
Just
Say, it's about 45 minutes in. You'll find it. I think we showed the log on the screen. Maybe didn't. Anyway, cheers, lads.
I can find the log. I've got it over here.
Well done.
I was watching the log.
Come on, get the log up. Let's have a look get your log out for the lads.
I don't really want to.
Let's have a look. See.
Let's see the log. Come on.
Look, man, I don't know how to find it. Like that's. What was the time on the block?
It was 2:49, 2 minutes 40, or excuse me, the 49-minute mark. I don't know what it'd be.
21:49, 6 minutes ago.
49. Fuck, my logs might
UTC.
not go back that far.
UTC, baby, the only time zone.
No, I missed it.
6 minutes?
Probably.
How
No,
fast
it's not on the screen as well.
How fast does your log rotate? Well, yeah, just fucking get more log.
There's no reason logging anymore. You have nothing to log. You might as well kill it.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you do that with the time thing? Because I never really did
Journal
that.
control, and then there's a fucking live. There's a you can do a from on journal control.
What's the time format?
Give me 1 second.
I mean, it's got to be ISO, hasn't
This
it?
is- I
Otherwise
mean,
we're
this
all
is-
doomed.
This is good fucking podcasting stuff right here.
So
You can do
while they're doing that, I'll just
you could do since dash since and then do a quote and do like 10 minutes ago. Type it out and see if that works with quote, because it'll actually figure that out. So journal control. Journal
Holy
control.
shit! Now,
That
yeah,
work?
it's just but. So it was just
Maybe.
man, it spit out a lot.
So for those listening back on a podcast player and who can't obviously see what's up on the screen, who haven't been able to, what has just happened here is Null has successfully tombstoned a Horcrux node on Say's Atlantic 2 testnet. We've got Todd's dashboard up. Shout out to Todd, consistently awesome friend of the podcast. We've got his dashboard up. It says tombstoned on there.
It does.
The node's very, very dead. It's very, very tombstoned, and we're just, it's just
Super
your average
exciting
game of nodes where we're trying to get Null to get his logs out for the land.
I mean,
It's always about the logs.
Noel, do you have multiple nodes that the signer's pointing to, or it's just a single one?
no, multiple. Yeah, there's two.
Okay, I'm gonna go see if I can tombstone since I'm only pointing at one.
It's pretty good. Oh,
So
that's a good question. That's a good question, actually, right? Yeah, that's a good additional test.
So
Say team's like, what the fuck is going on? Everybody's testing this tombstone. There's nobody left.
everyone's tombstoning, man.
Why's everybody bullying our nodes? Hey,
Whose is this? Oh, this is
Yeah,
you,
so this is mine. So this is all I did. I just did the watch.
yeah, sure.
Watch that restart service.
That's every second. So basically, you
That's every
restart
2
it
seconds. Every 2 seconds, not every second.
I thought watch by default was every second.
I lied in the chat, and then I couldn't be bothered to fix it. So, so I'm still trying to make these logs come up.
Not FU. Not FU. You don't want FU.
yeah, FU would be follow.
You don't want to follow it. You don't want dash
Oh,
U either.
right.
So that sense would replace all the dash FU stuff. Yeah. I think that's correct. I could be wrong. I haven't done this in a while, but I think that's usually what it is. Yeah, there you go. That's 10 minutes ago. 21:50. Yeah, look at that. Fucking A.
50, so that's too far away. That's too close.
Oh yeah, 15 minutes ago. Yep.
49. What was it? 49 what?
I thought we said. Oh,
47?
somebody replay the fucking tape. I thought it was.
Somebody
I thought you
scroll
said
back.
49. Well, you're getting pre-commits here, so it's after this, right?
Yeah.
I think this is about
Horcrux
it.
is going to show
How can I make more lines print?
just hit
Oh,
space
right,
and go to
hang
the
on.
next page. What are
Yeah,
you doing?
okay. Yeah.
What are we talking about?
We're laughing and learning. We're laughing and learning.
We're laughing and learning.
I mean, I don't use this functionality in. I always follow. I don't use this in.
No,
Journal
it's okay. You
Control.
can do up and down and everything. It's just going to do everything from 15 minutes ago till right now.
SIGs. Whoop. Oh no, it's a stop and a restart.
21:49,
SIGs.
26. Yeah, every 2 seconds. Looks good. You're pre-voting, reprinting. Yeah, you're okay.
We're still voting.
We're still voting.
It's not much, but it's honest work.
This is truly the life of a validator. Okay, something
This is
went
good
wrong.
times. I know. If you're listening in,
This is good, honest validator work right
This-
here.
this is
Look,
good podcasting.
we're
too.
doing
It's probably the closest to actual work I've done all day.
This is- oh yeah, I could probably get a block on when you tombstone too.
Yeah, does it say what the height was?
I can take a look. This is good.
I think
This is
it
good
did
podcasting
say,
right here, right?
It did
This is
say
good stuff.
on Todd's sexy dashboard, didn't it?
It did actually.
Oh, it
Yeah,
might.
yeah, it did.
For those listening at home, we're just scrolling logs here looking for the event.
We're just trying to find out what the fuck is going on here. Hey, this is fun. This is
I don't think I can.
tombstoning validators just to feel alive. I love it.
This is actually my first ever tombstoning.
Oh, look at that! I'm live on stream. That's amazing.
This
Congratulations.
might even be my first jailing.
Thanks for doing it for the.
Oh, I've gotten jailed before. Are you
worlds.
kidding me? Who gives a shit about jailing?
Wait, no, you. I thought you jailed on a network early doors.
Hey?
Oh no,
Dude,
you
Like on,
what are you
on
talking about?
mainnet?
You've been
I've
jailed
never
on it.
been jailed in mainnet.
Get the fuck out! You've been jailed on Atlantic 2 and Dev 3 like 1,000 times. What are you talking
Yeah, I've
about?
never been jailed in mainnet.
Oh yeah, I don't think. Well, I was on Nomic, so that. But that's
Yeah,
my only
mainnet.
one, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I can still test
If
that.
we're
Right?
counting, if we're counting test nets, then I think I've double.
I've never double signed anything, but
So we've scrolled through about
can't
a
remember.
1,000 pages here. And so we've gone through about 1,500 lines.
I think you're
and
still.
it's all been in the same minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might still be if you -fu it. It looks like it's still doing its job in terms of pre-signing, pre-commit, even though you're jailed, right? So that
No,
Yeah.
is it,
right.
it says signed vote, right? It shouldn't do that if it was.
is it showing signed vote?
Yes, it's signed vote. Round 0.
I don't know,
yeah.
but it's just the signer. Does the signer actually know if it's jailed? It doesn't. It's just getting a package and signing it, right?
In
I
the
don't
chat,
think so.
Ben
I think it
says
knows.
Scrolling Logs is a good band name.
Scrolling logs.
Can
a
you just
former
check the
housemate had a band
unbonding
called-
block? Can you query the CLI for the unbonding block?
God damn it!
Come on, man.
A former housemate had a band called the
I'm here
Flaming
pressing
Logs.
up and down. That's the least you can do.
You had it go just command tab to Todd's thing because I think he had. Ben, I can send you a fucking hat too.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't say what block you tombstoned on.
Well,
Okay.
it should show the current block that it's on because you shouldn't be moving forward, right?
In
Yeah.
theory,
Yeah, no.
I mean, the other thing you can do is just look at the height, and because you know what height the
height.
double sign.
the height's progressing because it's connected to someone else's.
Yeah, but you know what height the double sign was because it was on Todd's dashboard.
No, it's not on Todd's dashboard.
thought it was.
That height's progressing because it's connected to it's still connected to the RPC.
Okay.
I had the same thought.
Fuck, man.
all right. So it would be query slashing signing info. I gotta find your fucking developer. All right, give me a second. I just gotta get into that node. This is good. This is good entertainment.
This is content, man. This is content.
I like how whenever Noel got jailed, High Tides validator got pushed into the active set.
Did he?
That's good stuff.
just
stuff.
printing misses now.
I think so.
All right.
Wait, so you're all doing say Atlantic too, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the two savants on the chat are both tombstoned.
Let's see. Your developer. Oh, your cons pub. Fucking shit. 1 second, please.
Holding.
The fun sounds
Holding.
of somebody trying to cross work out all the various different addresses. Love it.
I love that we have 10 different addresses. Here you are.
I
It's
could
very convenient. I mean, the thing is that every network has their own weird way of doing all the various stuff, and it's always a faff. It's almost like it'd be a lot easier if there wasn't all this cryptographic nonsense in the middle of all of it.
man. Where is it?
Because the definition of it's sort of like needle in a haystack, but with like a loaded revolver that's already gone off.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be pretty uneventful when I find it anyway, because it's just going to be like it's signed and then it's signed.
What if we
"You signed
grab
twice,
the
yours
Byzantine
came back."
behavior message? We could do
What's
that,
that?
right? From our logs, we could take our logs and pipe out the Byzantine behavior message, right?
That's I'm trying to find the. You could probably
Well,
could probably
could you
query
not
that
do
for the-
like say D Q evidence?
Actually, would that?
Oh,
what,
CLI?
yeah, what was the
Because you can
Actually-
you can query the evidence, can't you? So
You're on
I can't remember the exact CLI command, but it was something like say D Q.
That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm looking at. It's
Q evidence.
query slashing signing info.
Yeah.
But actually, you're looking at the wrong. I think you're looking at the wrong log because I don't think Horcrux knows. Right? It would only be in the node log. Horcrux doesn't know you're signing or double signing or anything else. It has no fucking idea. It's just a signer. Go to the SAID log.
Well,
and query
TMKMS
for.
knows.
Horcrux
well,
knows.
the only thing we can see here is Like the only thing we can see is that it's voted on the same block with different signatures. So we really need to know the block.
I feel like that was directed at me. I'm trying to. It says invalid character S looking for beginning of value.
Fuck, man.
If I had a say node, I'd SSH onto it right now, and I'd be pissing around with the command line.
I'm on slashing info. It's just not coming up. I'm not sure.
All right, let's just give up on this shit. It's tombstoned. So
Congrats.
It took about 10 minutes. That's like, there you go, kids.
No regrets.
No regrets. And I'm sick of looking at logs. That's pretty boring. It's boring shit.
Yeah, I wonder if I can check my node, actually. That's good.
So hopefully that signer will continue to run and keep those nodes at the head, though, so that I can fire up another. So
just get it straight back in the mess.
What's your Valcon's address? Do you know? Can you see that to me? Because I have the endpoint here.
Yeah,
that you can hit.
I'll put it in. It's this one. I just put it in private chat. Yeah,
Valcon's is the pain in the ass one to get in it if you're not on the node.
It's in the Explorer, actually.
Yeah,
it's where?
It's in the No Guru Explorer. They publish it, which is nice.
Oh, do they? That's handy.
Yeah, agreed.
So, other launches impending. We can talk about Noble because the
private app chain.
FRN
Zed.
Yeah, that's
referenced in the title of this very podcast.
Oh, you didn't.
He did.
Yeah, well, it was just there for the taking. Like, regardless of the fact that I haven't got any of those fucking tokens. I don't know if you do.
I hope that this tombstoning is not going to like taint my my good standing with Say.
No, I think it's good stuff.
Yeah, just yorp your way out of it.
They're going to come on. They're going to be on the show, right? I know you reached out to them. I reached out to them too. So they're going to come on. So we can walk them through how this is for science.
Yeah, and we'll just say that. Just remember that anybody who tombstones is automatically completely incompetent and should just be banned. Straight away, they have to do the long walk from Mega City 1, and that's it. That's how it works.
Done.
Mega City 1.
You ever watch Judge Dredd? That's like,
oh yeah, yep. Man, I've watched some ass movies lately. There was I watched this.
Let me tell you, I watched some ass in my time.
I watched this movie yesterday.
Good info.
My partner just arrived yesterday afternoon, and I watched this movie with her on Netflix, and it was total ass.
Was it called The Shawshank Redemption? Because that film was rubbish.
Yeah, I mean that's like in the same league as Schindler's List, right? Pretty shit.
Shit.
No, it was some fucking horror, and it was horrible. Oh,
there's a whole genre of horrors. You might.
Oh no, it's like some recent production of utter shit.
Was it? I'm just gonna name. It's not gonna be something good like The Wicker Man. It's gonna be like.
No, it was like, I'll run away or something fucking absolutely stupid.
Parasite is to die for, though. It's a South Korean film that
won an Oscar.
Fuck.
It's a niche. It's a little indie film that won an Academy Award.
Did it? I didn't know that.
Best film, no?
Yeah.
To the viewers,
I don't pay attention to awards ceremonies, to be honest with you.
You have to go look that up. I might have got it wrong, but I think it got best cinematography, bringing me back to my thing about if you just watch the best cinematography.
Hey, did I like foresee this tombstoning with that tagline?
What do you mean?
On the name here, null, and then the skulls. Did I like
Yeah,
Wow.
you thought about it.
Just like the Rug Master. Jeez.
Yeah. I can see the future. I've preempted twice. If anyone's wondering why I keep like looking off into the sky on the other side here, there's like a portrait 34-inch ultra wide.
Just a distraction monitor, as I used to call it.
Absurd.
Yeah, it's great for logs.
Okay, so Parasite won 4 Academy Awards. Didn't win cinematography, so I'm wrong. My theory is up. It is
Shot
in smoke.
blown.
It's fucked. It's dead. They won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best International Feature Film. There you go.
It deserves it.
And the Palme d'Or at Cannes. So quite a lot of accolades there. But yeah, you should watch Parasite. Schultze is right.
Did you get a block, Schultze?
Yeah, that's the block. It's 484 0302.
484.
So, does anybody else? I don't even know if you can get it in the US, but have you heard of a Western series called The English?
That I haven't heard of, but I am working on 1883 right now, which is basically a Western soap opera. It's great.
That's the early version of
Yellowstone. Yeah. And while Noel was over, he definitely dropped spoilers like right at the very end. We had no idea what was going to happen. And then he was like, boom, that's when this is about to happen, right? And I was like, I guess it is, isn't it?
You didn't even know it was a prequel to Yellowstone, and I'm like, oh, you seen it? And I'm like, oh fuck, man, has this happened yet?
I know.
Like,
Yeah,
what?
Has this major event happened yet?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I'm just dropping spoilers.
Oh, it hasn't.
Okay. So I'm looking at my watched history in Netflix, and it's Better Watch Out, and it is.
Okay, that does sound like a shit film. To be fair, that's the title of a shit film.
It is utter shit. Do not watch it.
What's the name again?
Better Watch Out.
Better Watch Out. And this is like a Netflix production, so fuck you, Netflix, for making me watch that shit.
Jeez.
I'm
okay,
upset.
but hold on. We can't just judge the name because It Follows is one of my absolute favorite horror movies, and that's a pretty horrible name.
IT Follows?
Yes. IT Follows. It Follows. It came out in, I don't know, 2014, 2015. And
was that Netflix production?
It was not a Netflix production. No, but it was like, it is an indie film, I do believe. And it's fantastic. That one I highly recommend. But there's a certain level of suspension of disbelief you have to take with it. Well, I mean, that's true of all movies, I guess.
Got weirdly philosophical at the end. But then you have to remember that they're actually actors, but then you have to forget that. I mean, good comms.
Such a fine line.
It's a fine line. But yeah, no, sorry. I would really, really very strong recommend for The English. Speaking of things with a bad title, really bad title was recommended to me, and I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds like file under list of things I'm never going to fucking watch. And they're like, it's a Western. I'm like, I don't get it. Still file under the list of things I'm not going to fucking watch. And then I think it got nominated for a couple of BAFTAs, I think, and then actually did watch it and was like, it's very slow and very dark and not much is happening. Stereotype, but yeah, this is my kind of jam. And then it's very
You should have said Emily Blunt was in it, then I would have been all about it.
It's it's basically, Heart of Darkness. It's basically kind of like Heart of Darkness, but as a Western.
Oh, interesting.
It's got that kind of vibe where, just like Apocalypse Now, which is also a kind of retelling of Heart of Darkness. It's got a little bit of that going upriver to find out what the fuck happened. And like in this case, it's like there's this little fucking town in the middle of nowhere, and there's this woman who's like, I guess like an impoverished English aristocrat who's trying to go there across the West, and everybody's trying to fleece her and take her money and shit, and she's getting kind of angrier. And it's like what are we going to find in this town? Why is she going there? What's the fucking deal here? And there's two stories. There's one which is a Pawnee scout who's just been demobbed from the US Army, and then there's this aristocrat, and they kind of meet, and they're both sort of going in the same direction, and so it has this sort of two people on the same path but not traveling together necessarily kind of thing. And also the whole kind of Heart of Darkness, like what are they going to find at the head of the river kind of vibe to it. And it's good. It's very, very dark and very, very, very I guess I just like whatever. It was really, I basically went into it with no expectations. Possibly that's why I think it was so good. Maybe if I went into it with super high expectations, I'd have been like, it was okay. But yeah, pleasantly surprised by that. It's the best thing I've watched recently, that's for sure. Doesn't narrow it down much.
Rama is now the best validator in Australia.
How you getting on with that log? How are you getting on with that log, Mel? I've only seen so many things recently, so I'm about out of movie chat. Wild Isles, the new David Attenborough. We could. I tell you what,
I don't think that's the block. It must be the block after that because Null signs 303, so it can't be 302.
Yeah, so 302 seems to be fine, and then 303 is
you
where
signed 303.
Restarted. Yeah,
303 you signed, and 304 I don't see you in there. Which I'm not sure if that's the block that you. But I don't see. It's not a transaction, right? So it doesn't show up as a transaction. So I was kind of looking through the logs.
The 303 is interesting because it went into rounds. So it went round 0. So it did a pre-vote on 303, right?
Yeah.
It restarted, and then it pre-vote 303 with a different signature, and then it's did a pre-commit.
Are you looking at
303?
What are you looking at
on both hosts? So I'm just looking
at the logs on both hosts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it did a pre-commit with the same signature, and then and then it went to round 1. So that was round 0, and then it went to round 1, and it did a pre-commit and a pre-vote on one node.
Okay.
And then it says, so error signing vote. So it did a regression.
Yeah.
On round 1, got to last step 3. So then height 303, it did another signature on the local host, and then it restarted again, and then it was nuked. So it must be somewhere in those 3 lines. Is that last one there, the signed vote again on 303 in round 1. It did it twice. It did it once on the remote node and one on the local node.
So that does suggest that's the course of the problem, is that somehow it was able to do that second proposal. Was it a proposal or a vote?
Or it's waiting for a response that the node received the pre-commit.
Ooh, that's probably what it is. It sends it out, and then it's restarted while during that difference.
It's waiting for literally a TCP ACK, right? Like some sort of response that the packet is done.
And then
right, because then that's outside of the state, because it's literally in flight already. And then,
hang on, it's an error signing the vote, and then it's voted again, but it had already voted. It just didn't get a confirmation. It
didn't get a confirmation.
Yep. That's probably what it is. You're right.
So that could be a couple things. One, the way the services are closed, you can control the way like Unix and other types of system services are closed. So in this sense, you would probably want to wait until you receive an ACK, or you want to give it some sort of timeout on that closure to make sure that anything that's outbound has the ability to come back, right? And so that would be you're just doing a system D restart, right? That's all you're doing.
Yeah, it's just restarting the system D over and over and over again.
Yeah, so that system D, that's programmable, right? And you'd want to be able to make sure that in the system D, not like in your configure the system D, like in the application itself, when it receives a system D shutdown, that it's actually waiting for outbound returns, because it's shutting down so fast. Basically, it's not waiting for even a TCP acknowledge. So
yep, it's just saying I'm out of here.
It just quits, and so it never gets the ACK so it doesn't know the package was sent, or the packet was sent, or it doesn't write it because it's not received that the packet was received, right? So it doesn't think that the TCP packet was sent, and so therefore there you go, it shits the bed. That's crazy. That's a good defect. I mean, I guess the solution is don't do that.
Hard I mean, that's quite an easy, potentially quite an easy fix, but it's also easy to see why it would be forgotten about, because the scenario in which you don't anticipate getting the response from that because the service is shut down and it's restarted and is resent would require it to be moving pretty quickly.
Yeah, the question is, I don't know if there's a system D control for actually, if you manually restart a service, for it to put a pause in. Obviously, you could do an automatic restart pause, that's pretty easy to do, but I don't know if you can actually do anything where, hey, I just run a restart on system D, and system D knows that when this process stops, to pause for X seconds.
Right, but the fix is in the software, isn't it? To just
it is, for sure.
It shouldn't. If it's when it starts, it shouldn't be doing that behavior. In the case that these, I guess, there's actually quite. Yeah, it's a bit. There is a solution there, but is.
This is different. This is different. What happened to Crow's Nest, by the way?
Because he signed.
Yeah, it is, because he signed one and then it restarted.
Mm-hmm.
and then he signed it, same one again. This one's got a regression
with a different node.
His didn't have a regression in it.
But again, that could be related to not receiving the ACK, right?
So this signature, by the way, is the same. So the 303 signature is the same.
So the step regression, see that looks like the node replied with like the node actually received the receipt on a different round. I don't know.
Yeah, because
the round shouldn't go that fast
rounds.
either, though. But the round, why would the rounds go that fast? You're doing this like literally in milliseconds, right?
Well,
there is like a lot of round ones. If you watch the say logs, there's a lot of round ones. So this might be a say thing because it's so fucking fast that it does lots of wild shit.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's fascinating. That's pretty cool. I mean, again, that's a good question. I don't know if this is a say thing. I know we were talking about trying on a different test net and trying something that's not at 300 millisecond blocks, but that would be interesting to try too.
So just like, try it on a different test net and restart the thing like every fucking quarter second or something.
Right.
Right. It does,
hey, the Fray, will you vouch for me if I had Tombstone on Juno?
Yeah. Tombstone away. I mean, I think most of us Tombstone back on the Astarte days. So like, I mean, you can Tombstone on mainnet. It's not going to cost you much at the moment either.
It's fine.
That hurts.
Call me an ambulance.
I'll redelegate my self stakes to someone else than Tombstone.
Yeah. Just sign. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I managed to get that meme totally wrong. What is it? Call an ambulance. And then he pulls the gun and
what?
You know the
No, I don't.
You know the meme. There's like a guy getting robbed, like an old man. He's like, "Oh no, call me call an ambulance." And then the mug is like, "Huh?" Like he's having a heart attack. And then the old man goes, "But not for me." And he pulls out like a shotgun or something.
Okay.
It's like this meme format. So memes are this thing that the kids use. Actually, no, memes are this thing the millennials use. The kids use fucking TikTok, don't they?
I'm sorry, the Frey, did you say something like controversial? What's Rama talking about here?
I just said you can Tombstone and mainnet and it won't cost you.
It won't cost you much.
Oh yeah.
That's just factually correct. Like in the grander scheme of things, it's going to cost you about $500 if you've got 100,000 stake, something like that.
Oh, brutal.
What's the slashing per hour mainnet? Is it 5%?
I think it's 5%.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to cost you $5,000 if you got 100,000.
I mean, $5,000 might not be much for a big shot like Needlecast, but when you king nodes
$500
on the fucking line of poverty, it's that'd put us under.
It's a handful of days before the end of the tax year, so I think it depends whether the slashing would count as an income loss.
Ooh, it's a taxable event.
If it was a taxable event, then it would be sad because it would basically come out of employee payroll. But we'll just tell all the interns that they're going to have to fight each other for their pay. It'll be easy peasy.
Ben Davis says Core One has noticed Juno price at last. Only took a year.
That's not fair.
That's not fair. It's funny.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, it's actually fair.
Ooh, we've got an update.
Did you Tombstone?
No.
Oh.
Almost more interesting. So they've already done, the Strangelove team has already done analysis on it, and they think they found the issue with it, and they are going to remove Horcrux having single signer mode in the next release.
Boo. Degen Horcrux.
Like, wait a minute, that's my
that's not the output we want.
What? That is not a solution. That is not a fucking solution.
Well, what we've decided is that Null's use case should not be supported anymore.
That's fucking awful.
Take it out.
That's bullshit.
That's not a solution. I can sign with a single signer on say. I cannot with a raft. But I mean, the problem doesn't exist if you don't just fucking rapidly restart the thing anyway. Just add a timeout. Add a thing that knows the state. Like just add a thing that looks at the state and then skips a block before it starts trying to sign again.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there's other ways you can solve this.
Horcrux.
I think Null, it's time for you to finally elevate.
Yeah, there you go.
The maintainer of Horcrux Classic.
Degen Horcrux Classic.
Horcrux.
Horcrux.
It's the greatest drama in the Horcrux community between Horcrux and Horcrux Classic. We'll see how it works out for both camps, huh? In 5 years' time.
Now the question is, can there be IBC Horcrux? Oh, then there could be a Horcrux app chain. You got to pay to keep your nodes alive.
What was that
Wait, isn't
chat
that
in?
what we already do?
Was that the Signal chat, or was that the? There's like a chat in Twitter, Telegram. Is it, what chat was that, Chelsea? Where you saw that?
Yeah,
Is that the Telegram one?
Yeah, let me add you to it.
One of 75 different communication methods.
Uh,
I wonder why single node would this be a single node issue?
I think it has to do with like if a node. Yeah, you're in it.
What's the name of it? The chat?
I'm gonna wave at you so you can see it.
Null's bullshit.
But it's called Horcrux Hangout.
That's it.
So I think if you have multiple signers, like the odds of all of them are starting at the exact same moment, I think is where the issue is, right? So
Right.
like if one node restarts for multi-signer, then it'd be totally fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's what I was asking.
So if you have infinite nodes, you can never double sign.
That's right.
And you'll also never sign a block. So because the latency between them will be too high. So you'll finally achieve the platonic perfection of validation.
Schrodinger's crux.
Schrodinger's Hawk. Yeah, it's all getting a bit.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense with
if
the
you
with
never
the raft.
sign, if you
With the
never
raft,
sign, is that not perfect signatures?
Yeah. That makes sense with the raft. I guess that's not. I don't know if that's the solution of the signing piece, or it just means that you can't do it all at the same time, so therefore it wouldn't happen.
The solution is if you never sign, you can never sign twice.
That's right.
That's exactly what I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
But
So just you don't actually have to sign anything to be a validator. You just have to be able to cover the slashing cost. So just unjail, cron job unjail,
And
every
vote, I guess.
10,000 blocks.
And you got to vote.
Chill Validation had a really cool signing idea for validator. Really, you don't even need to see a node. You can just consume what everyone else is signing and see which one has signed the most and just send back that same signature and be like, boom, I agree. Then you can have a light validator.
A light node. It's just a relay back to where it came from. Yeah. And then, you could probably do that just like on Croncat. Don't even need to run anything. Just Croncat a fucking thing going back. Uh-oh.
Maybe.
It's like a whole set is just echoes of the same signature. There's only one dude doing it.
Well, that'd be the logical conclusion, right? There's only the one person actually signing, and then everyone else just echoes it out. Yeah, I see the same. I see the same signature. Wow.
I see the same thing.
I mean, that would be like peak decentralization theater, wouldn't it? If it just turns out everybody's just echoing the same one.
It's like Twitter.
It's kind of what we're already doing. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Where we're at right now is very much the theater comedy. It's the pre. Although no, it was. I mean, was FTX like the .com boom or .com crash moment for probably not. It's probably going to be a lot worse, isn't it? There's no way that's bad enough.
I mean, really,
it's kind of disturbing to think that things are only going to get worse from here on out, isn't it? Like, or better, depending on your view.
We've said there has to be a compelling event that's gonna change the trajectory. So we'll see when Noble launches. I'm curious on what native USDC does, if that is a input or an output. Like getting away from that, like having that be an extremely frictionless bridge, if you want to call it that. Is that going to increase the amount of individuals in the Cosmos, or is that going to not make an effect? I think it would. I mean, it's a good, compelling event that should hopefully change something.
Well, it's interesting as well because I guess there's a lot of TVL already locked around other bridged USDC like Axelar USDC and stuff, and that's what a lot of other chains have used. So there'll be a question, I guess, whether or not like liquidity migrates in that direction, like as an induction of Noble. But it's like, but if that value's locked, or if it's in like, DeFi protocols where there's like a more long-term locking mechanism or something like that, it'd be interesting to see if that actually does migrate, what pace it migrates at, because that could be like a serious barrier for adoption, you'd have thought.
I mean, everybody agrees that bridges are, we want to be able to be an IBC world, right? So the long term is that we would hope that IBC does replace that structure. And so like that it's a good thing that that's happening, right? Like that's a positive. It's not a negative that, 100%. That value is going away.
It just, I guess it's just like the question of how long it takes, or whether, and also whether or not like Noble is the solution that will.
Well, that's a question,
you know, because there's also Well, yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of those where, especially in my current sleep deprived state, I'm not sure I'm not sure I'd be qualified to talk about it at the best of times, really. Although I will, but doubly so in current situation, whether or not it is actually the best way of. It's the difficulty of like a stable coin like that. That's also from a different ecosystem, like how you can build the incentives around it in such a way that it is going to work and take market share when there's not a situation where people are like, I guess the thing is there are enough DeFi protocols that need a stable coin, but like where we currently are right now is basically it's builders and super enthusiasts again. We're kind of back to that level of users.
Right.
And super enthusiasts probably, and then super degens on the other hand. There are definitely some hardcore degens who are just still keeping the faith.
Yeah.
But whether or not it's the right time to be evaluating new technology and whether or not it can achieve product market fit, that is like an open question, I would say.
Yeah. A bit longer term. I mean, that piece is more longer term, right? Like I think there's time to define that last one, but I'm hoping for some, like there needs to be eyeballs, and we want to be able to have, there's good usability and there's good applications. So it'd be nice to be able to have, I'm hoping IBC and the ease of USDC coming in changes some controls there. I also think it actually takes a huge piece of value out of the Atom, but that's different. So the Atom is, if you want to say the Atom's a hub, and that's the way to get into Cosmos. Is it now? Isn't USDC when the stablecoin be the way to do that?